What is going down, faithful? It's Monday, so that means we are going to break down the 49ers offensive tape versus the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to watch Brock Purdy. We're going to watch Deebo Samuel. The offensive line had a day. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and some sleepers balling out against Seattle. So we're going to run it back. We're going to break it down. Look at all the fun stuff that came out of this game against the Seattle Seahawks as the San Francisco 49ers sweep Seattle two two years in a row. Feels phenomenal. Feels great, baby. Woo! Pulling that one out from the back of the closet. Hopefully you guys are having a phenomenal Victory Monday, but you guys already know what to do. Smash that like button, drop an SDS in the chat. Let's break down the tape of the best team in football and the owner currently of the number one seed. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. This tape is a fun. It's not the same as last week, where I felt like last week was the Kyle Shanahan show. But this week is a little bit different in the sense of we had some really quality individual efforts on the day, and we get started off with a bang because the San Francisco 49ers just lit it up on the very first play. Christian McCaffrey almost goes the distance. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to let it play, and then we are going to kind of run it back, reverse it, and break it down individually. The offensive line deserves some credit for the way they played and blocked in the run game. So that's what we are going to do. And so I'm getting ready to hit play. Smash that like button on your end. And let's get into the tape and get this thing cooking. Let's watch CMC go crazy on the very first play of the game. No surprise, you get pre-snap motion in Kyle Shanahan's scheme. You get a nice little pitch left, and the blocking was phenomenal. Oh, look at Brock Purdy running down, getting after it. Bro, look at first person there to help CMC up. Brock Purdy. Would you look at that? Here you're going to get the end zone look of what the pitch left looks like. Look at the blocking. Look at the lane that CMC has to work through. And it's just a lot of green grass. And look at BA blocking about 60 to 70 yards downfield. Again, man, what a great first opening play for the San Francisco 49ers to punch the Seattle Seahawks right in the mouth, right out the gate. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of good blocking on this play. So, perfect start for me to get into the weeds of the trenches and see why this play was so successful. Let's take a look at why it was. All right, so we're going to start with the Kyle Juszczyk motion. So you're going to see Juice shift into I formation. You've got Kittle to the left, and this is going to be a pitch. So starting with Kittle and Trent, Trent's responsibility is to reach block this defender. So right there, Trent wins. Trent does his job. Kittle is going to go to second level, and you're going to get a bit of a seal from Deebo Samuel as well. And so you're going to see Kyle Juszczyk angling to the outside, and so that's where they are pushing. They are pushing far left, but CMC is the master of the cutback lane and using these defenders. Watch Wagner, watch Brooks, watch Diggs. They are coming downhill fast to make sure that CMC doesn't break outside. So he understands that and he's able to cut it back. But what you see here, Aaron Banks gets the second level, Kittle to second level. And because of that, look at the wall that is created. Banks actually takes two, Brooks, Diggs. And then you see Jonathan Feliciano doing what he's supposed to do, getting to the second level. And that puts CMC in a perfect spot to cut right off his hip. And as a result, CMC's gone. And look at BA. Like a lot of wide receivers would just stop right about here. Be like, all right, I got him. It's going to be CMC and Witherspoon in a foot race. No, CMC's like, look at Ayuk, man. Look at that effort to chase down Witherspoon. CMC goes for the cutback, and Ayuk is right there to take him out. And then, oh, look, your quarterback. Your quarterback right there to pick him up at the end. Again, if you look at it from this angle, see the guards. Guards go to second level. That's what you want. McKivitz stays on his guy. Whoo! We got some good stuff right out the gate. And then, as you guys know, we get a touchdown right after this. Jordan Mason joins the party, gets a score on the ground. Some more good blocking on this play. The 49ers offensive line definitely wasn't perfect on the day. They gave up some sacks, wasn't perfect, but man, they really playing well. All things considered. Let's go left to right. Look at Trent. Sit down, number 90. He literally sits him down on his behind. So sit down. There you go. And this actually works well because Feliciano's going to peel to backer, and then you're going to get the defensive tackle to flash in the gap. And then Jordan Mason does a phenomenal job of cutting off that block or off that look, using Brendel as leverage, and then Feliciano and Banks getting to the second level allows a walk-in touchdown. Great job by Jordan Mason to be able to read this and feel this, because it's not exactly how you would draw it up necessarily from a schematic standpoint, but everyone did their part and made it work. And Jordan Mason gets the touchdown. So right off the bat, O-line's cooking, man. We get a touchdown right away. Went for a little bit of a drought with really any big plays, big splash plays. So we got to fast forward a little bit here to Brock Purdy starting to get loose. So we're going to have Brock Purdy find Brandon Ayuk on a nice little play right here. Brock's so good, man. I'm sure you guys have seen all the numbers that he's putting up, but he does a really good job of being able to stick his foot in the ground and just let that ball rip. This is an absolute dart, and he makes these things look routine. These types of throws for Brock are nothing, man. He does these in his sleep. Him and Ayuk have impeccable timing on these in-breaking routes, whether short, intermediate, or deep, like this one right here. It's a great job. And then Purdy was just dicing him up with quick slants. Quick slant, one step, hitch, throw. Easy. Take what the defense gives you, and that's exactly what Brock does. Empty backfield, hitch, throw. Easy. Easy money. So, even though, 49ers got the scoring play, the drive, I guess, 2 plays in, scored the touchdown, and, Seattle's actually able to go up 10-7 on the 49ers, and then we had this play happen. So, the 49ers had to start out in a hole a little bit, and they had to dig themselves out. So I was at the game, so I didn't see any of the broadcast. I did post a shot that I got of this play, and because my read on this is that Brock Purdy was expecting Brandon Ayuk to continue to kind of moving. Either he stopped at the wrong landmark or didn't continue across. Not really sure what the keys are on this particular play, but the way that I looked at it, especially in real time, was that it looked like Brock was expecting Brandon Ayuk to keep moving across the field. Instead, Ayuk sat it down, and they were just off a little bit. And so it tips off his hands and goes as an interception. I did see from some of the comments that apparently on the broadcast, Kyle Shanahan was kind of ripping into Brandon Ayuk a little bit after this play. So some people were indicating that they believe that Kyle was more upset at Brandon Ayuk after this particular play than anything else. So again, not here to assign blame. I'm just trying to diagnose. That is all. But I do want to show something that is extremely underrated about what Brock Purdy does right here. So we talk about Brock Purdy's pocket presence, pocket awareness, those different types of things. I think when sometimes people hear that, they just think of, moving around in the pocket, being able to sense pressure, being able to step up, bail out, those types of things. Like, as you can see, it's a pretty clean pocket, naturally builds around him. He doesn't have to move. He's got time, right? Pump fake and throws it. But I want to show you how special this is right here. So watch this pump fake. This is how dope Brock is, man. That he can pump fake a dude out of his throwing lane to make sure he's going to get this thing completed. So see this pump fake? This pump fake is solely for that defensive tackle. See the defensive tackle rise, regather, and throw right where that defensive tackle just was. Brock is smart enough to understand the defensive tackle's just kind of spying him, sitting in his passing lane, and is just going to throw his hands up. So he pump fakes the defensive tackle to be able to get this thing out. And I want to show you why that's the case. Because if you look at where he's pumping this, he knows he's got a favorable matchup. And, with the coverage of Ayuk on 20, so the pump fake, it's not for the safety, it's not for a linebacker. It's simply to get that guy up, and so he can reset and throw right off him. Do you guys see what I'm talking about? Do you see how galaxy brain this move is? Because if you look at Ayuk's still got to get out of his break. So Brock is early here. Pump, gets him up, resets, fires. Now, obviously, there's little bit of a miscommunication with the route, but man, the awareness of Brock to understand that he's got a defensive tackle in his throwing lane, understands that he has time to pump fake him, pump him, throw right off him. These are the little things that people won't ever see unless you do a film breakdown. They won't notice or pay attention to, but are the reasons that really help determine why Brock Purdy is playing at such a high level, right? It's so small, and again, it's an interception, but such great awareness by Brock of the situation to understand that he's got a guy sitting in his throwing lane and he's going to pump fake him to make sure he's got a clear runway to get that ball out. Nice little quick slant. They're money on these quick slants. They're really hard to stop. Little play action. Little Brandon Ayuk slant action. Not bad. Not bad. Pitch and catch. Easy money. They were doing a really good job of attacking the edges against Seattle. You're going to get a nice pitch here to Christian McCaffrey, and again, the blocking is just beautiful. The fact that you're able to get Christian McCaffrey one-on-one with the safety about 20 yards downfield is fantastic. Let's see. Let's go left to right. See what the O-line's doing. Great job setting the edge here. Charlie Warner, Trent Williams working in tandem to double. So you see right away, Trent's got his eyes on the linebacker. If the linebacker goes over the top, he's taking over for Warner. If the linebacker undercuts, he's going to take him. So the linebacker goes underneath. So Trent comes off it. You get a great seal by Ayuk. And then you've got Kittle with the DB and Christian McCaffrey with a lot of space. Beautiful. This is beautiful. Aaron Banks, easy. Wagner goes underneath. No big deal. Look at that. Feliciano blocking downfield. They were doing a really good job of attacking the edges against this team. And they saw a lot of success getting out in space. I mean, look at the Christian McCaffrey's already the best back in the NFL. You don't need to give him running lanes like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. On this one, wasn't a big gain or anything by that like that, but I do like Purdy's ability to get this ball out. He feels pressure, all the pre-snap motion, so he's just going to step up to the pocket, protect himself, get this ball out, and get it to Deebo Samuel and live to play another down. And this play will ultimately set him up for a bigger play with the beautiful throw to Deebo Samuel for a touchdown. So look, this again, when you look at this play and you hear the context behind this play, obviously we look at the throw. The throw is phenomenal. The placement is beautiful. Deebo Samuel gets wide open. and Brock Purdy just drops it in the bucket. Like, you can't throw it any better than that. So, a main focus is going to be the air yards, the touch on the ball, the location, the placement, all those different types of things. But I honestly don't think the throw is the most impressive thing on this play, especially when you hear both Deebo and Brock Purdy talk about this play, because this wasn't supposed to go to Deebo. This is this is also the types of plays that you can reference when discussing how Brock Purdy is not a system quarterback and he is actually elevating the system around him. So, according to Brock Purdy, Juwan Jennings, who's right here lined up outside, is the primary wide receiver. So he's number one in the progression. I don't know what the rest of the progressions are. However, what Deebo Samuel said, who is down here in one of these hybrid bunch formations that the 49ers love to run, he said he was like the last read in the progression, at least when they practice this. But what Brock is trained to do is he's trained to look at the safeties. He sees he has middle field open because they appear to be in a cover 2 look. And so he's kind of alert to the coverage. And so when you hike this thing, his primary is right here to Jawan, but he sees Jamal eyes in the backfield playing this flat-footed. That you're going to get a pass off here because they're running zone. And when Brock sees flat-footed Jamal and a Deebo Samuel running straight up field at full speed, he's like, "All right, I want it. I want it. I'm not going to Jawan. I'm going Deebo." And he just lays that thing out there, and Deebo runs under it and catches it. And this play perfectly exemplifies how Brock Purdy is not a system quarterback. Obviously, every quarterback in some sense is a system quarterback. They have to be able to operate the system that in which they are playing in. But it's not like Brock is playing within just the confines of the system. He's able to make plays like this, which are out of structure. This is out of structure. This isn't the primary goal here. They aren't dialing up a deep shot. They're dialing up a comeback route to Juwan Jennings. And look at Juwan. He's expecting the ball. He's like, "All right, where's the ball?" And he's like, "Oh, it's not going to me. Oh, it's going to Deebo." You know what I'm saying? Like, this is galaxy brain quarterback play. This is how you understanding it pre-snap, seeing what you want post-snap, and then having the balls to let that thing rip, and he drops it in the bucket. Phenomenal. Phenomenal job by Brock Purdy, the San Francisco 49ers franchise quarterback. I'm just going to continue to refer to Brock Purdy as the franchise quarterback. I'm just going to do it. I'm convinced. I don't need any more convincing. I thought I was going to need a full season of Brock Purdy for me to be convinced that he's the franchise guy. I decided like 3 weeks ago that he was going to be the franchise quarterback moving forward because he's just playing insanely, insanely well. Uh, Absolutely phenomenal. So again, you know, one of my takeaways from this game was that they didn't play their best. They could play better. Kyle Shanahan talked about that when he was talking to the team after the game in the locker room. He said, "We didn't play our best game." And he asked the guys, "You agree?" And they're like, "Yeah, we agree. We could play better." Uh, So the 49ers still with this game, even though beating the Seahawks 28-16, there's still room for them to get better. But when they are on firing on all cylinders, it looks really pretty. Like it looks nice. It looks really nice. And again, we talked about it earlier. 49ers just were attacking the edges, and we get a nice little, basically a pop pass end around with who yet again being one of the crucial blockers out here, but Brandon Ayuk ensuring that his boy Deebo can shake free, get loose, and make a play upfield. Little pop pass, Brandon Ayuk, Jake Brendel. Look at all the boys blocking downfield. It's beautiful. Good job by Charlie Warner. Nice. So, what I do like about these plays is that the 49ers found success on the edges. I feel like we haven't, this might have been one of the games where they found the most success attacking the outside than I can remember all season. So that's a good development right now if the 49ers can continue to find this success on the outside, because that is going to open up so many different types of variations of things that they can run towards the inside, right? Different things that they can do off that. So one of my favorite plays that they run is like looks like a pitch. Everything about it looks like a pitch, but it's basically a inside zone play. But let's see, what do we got? Our next plays, we get Christian McCaffrey with a nice big gainer. Attacking those edges. This is one of my favorite runs from CMC on the day. And again, can't talk about this play having success without the blocking up front. This is like that Zorro concept, pulling Kyle Juszczyk across the formation. The timing to be able to get this before he goes, handoff to Christian. You get the double on the edge, juice peels. CMC's so fast. You get the stiff arm on Bobby Wagner. Says, get off of me. Look at Kittle. Look at Ayuk, man. And it's look at Kittle. Look at Ayuk. Kittle's coming all the way from the backside. Ayuk blocking in space. Look at these two guys getting more yardage for Christian McCaffrey. This team blocking downfield is clinic tape. Like it's teach tape on effort. It's teach tape on skill positions, tight ends, fullbacks, blocking. It really is like great stuff what they're doing. It's not typical that you see teams blocking like that downfield so consistently. And then we get a dime. Oh, what's the other key element here? This is out of structure. This is not how it's designed to go. Ball's designed to be out about right there when he gets ready to gather and throw. About right there is when he wants to get this ball out. But he's got a little bit of pressure on the inside. He feels it. He dips out, and then on the move to his left, delivers an absolute dime to Brandon Ayuk. A system quarterback, they say. A guy that's only good because of the weapons around him. This is a dime. Great catch by Brandon Ayuk, but this play was made by Brock Purdy. His ability to keep his eyes downfield, feel the pressure, dip out, get those hips flipped, and launch that thing and put it right on Brandon Ayuk. Not bad. McKivitz has a sick recovery on the spin move. He actually did pretty well on this rep. A lot of people might not like this rep because you're going to get the inside counter. So you can see McKivitz versus Jones. Is that Draymond Jones, I think? So he's going to counter inside spin, does a great job. And then Jones is going to use that leverage of McKivitz to spin off that. McKivitz has to do a 360 basically, and then picks it up. It's a good recovery. It's a good initial block, and then it's a good recovery on top of that. And that allows Brock Purdy to be able to dip out, fade to his left, and throw an absolute dime on the move. It's going to sound a bit redundant, but more good blocking on a Christian McCaffrey run. I'm going to appreciate the super chat, Glass City. And you're absolutely right. Again, what have you heard me say probably 15 times on this film breakdown? The San Francisco 49ers did a phenomenal job attacking the edges. Probably the best that I've seen them attack the edges all year. Look at that. Your left tackle gotta be able to reach block. That's a hard block. You're starting this out with number 58 on the outside shade of Charlie and Warner. Trent's job is to get his head on the opposite side and then spin that. Look at that. He rolled him back to the inside so much that he just looks at CMC run by and he's like, you know what? I'm just going to watch. This is how dominant Trent Williams is, man. Just, you see that power to be able to get his shoulders twisted, and then he completely just controls his leverage after that, and then just watches Christian McCaffrey go by. Like, that's not normal. And then Charlie Warner, Aaron Banks, Brendel all do a great job. Warner and Banks get to second level. Great job. And then CMC just feels it and cuts it back towards the inside. Again, Feliciano, ideally you get that head on the outside shoulder so you can wall off Wagner. But this is why you don't give up. And he chases him down, and then CMC cuts right off him for a quality gain. Attacking the edges. I love it. It's been a while since we've seen this team be able to run to the outside as much as they did against the Seattle Seahawks, man. So again, if they can continue to work those types of elements, being able to run to the outside, it's going to create a bunch of different things. This wasn't a big play by any means, but I thought it was a quality play by Brock Purdy. He's going to do play action naked boot, which means you're going to have Jamal Adams running at him at full speed, and he does a good job of hitting the brakes and somehow getting this ball off. Like, look at how close Jamal Adams is to him to allow him to get this ball off. And this is just phenomenal awareness because typically on play action naked boots, you kind of bend this angle as a quarterback pretty wide, but he has to stick his foot in the ground to stop his momentum and pop it out to Warner. Again, it doesn't look all that special, but that's a hard throw. That's a hard process. The whole thing of that's it's not easy to do this, even though it's a 5-7 yard pass. To be able to stop your momentum and then flip this thing to Warner so you don't get a sack is not bad. Not bad at all. And then we're going to get the almost touchdown to Deebo Samuel. It looked like a touchdown in the stadium, but I guess it wasn't. But again, another example of Brock Purdy playing outside of structure. The play is not designed for him to step up into the pocket, up through the offensive line, and then throw across his body. That is not a part of the play design. That is Brock Purdy being a playmaker and then getting the ball in the hands of his playmakers and then watching them work. So he feels the upfield speed rush by Boye Mafe. Boye comes through with one of these little cross chop swipe things. So they're like a hop. It's like a hop into a cross chop where cross and chop, slap, rip. And so you can see right there, Boye Mafe's got the leverage that he wants. Purdy feels it and just dips, throws it back, and almost gets a touchdown. Look at Ayuk. I didn't even see that. Ayuk like took the ball, spikes it instantly. I thought that was a touchdown, but I guess it wasn't. So they give another opportunity and they give it back to Deebo on the end around. So we get a nice little rushing touchdown. Doing what? Yet again, attacking the edges. Untouched. Trent takes 2 basically on this one. Just him putting out his arm on 52 is enough. Gets Brooks. Touchdown. Easy. Easy money. And then Deebo comes out and makes another good play. We all know Deebo was in his bag this game. Deebo's been in his bag since out the bye, basically. He's been playing really, really well. Definitely some of the best ball he's played in the past 2 years. He's playing great right now. Legendary stuff from Deebo Samuel right now. Backpack Deebo vibes. And nothing crazy. Really nothing crazy on it. Brock just working through his progressions. Let's kind of see what we got here. You get the orbit motion. They've been running a lot of this like under over. I don't even know what it's called, but this orbit motion where they come from underneath, wrap around, there's so many things that they can do with this. But I think because of that orbit motion, everyone's like, "Oh no, Christian McCaffrey's moving. Alert, alert, alert. Christian McCaffrey's moving before the play. Jamal Adams goes to him. Ayuk clears out 27, and then Deebo just sits it down in the soft spot, and then Brock finds him, and he does the rest." It's just crazy, man, how these defenses have to react to the 49ers skill positions. I don't know. There's always issues with post notifications that I've noticed. So my biggest advice is either unclick noties, then click them back on. Sometimes that helps. But I did learn that YouTube only sends out 3 post notifications a day, which makes 0 sense to me because I post like 12 to 15 times a day. So you only get notified of 3 of my posts a day. So I think the only cure is to stalk my page, which I don't mind. I don't mind at all. All right. This is a fun one. Brock, Kittle, touchdown. This has a lot to do with Brock Purdy being able to throw accurate pass, but it also has a lot to do with scheme manipulation. And I'll tell you why right here. So, as you can see, this looks like a run play. They're pulling Feliciano. They're pulling Kyle Juszczyk, and they're showing play action. So everything about this looks like a run. And as you can see, George Kittle is going to take a jab step, flash like he's going to block 55. Then he undercuts it because in this particular scheme design, you are going to get Kyle Juszczyk on the kick out. So 20 sees this and he's like, run. So that's why he comes up and he's expecting George Kittle to block him. And George does a really good job of setting that up. Like he's running straight at 20. Typically, when you're releasing for a route, you don't run straight at the defender, right? You're trying to kind of set them up or do something. But you can see 20 isn't ready. And Brock was all over it. They made him bite so hard. They made him bite so hard. They thought this was run, especially number 20. 20 gets, I believe, the penalty, and then George Kittle just does the rest. This next throw from dude, Purdy, I don't know. There's this throw. These next 2 throws that I'm going to show you might have been Brock Purdy's best throws of the day, which is saying a lot considering he's already made some pretty good throws. But this, again, play action, boot, reset, threads the needle. Ayuk obviously needs to take care of the football a little bit more. But look at the window that Brock fits this ball into. Choo! You want to talk about having some confidence in your arm? Man, that is the tightest of NFL windows. You basically looks like bracketed coverage. You got an underneath defender over the top defender, and you just throw this thing on an absolute rope. And then Ayuk stays up. Obviously, want to tuck that thing high and tight so that he just obviously didn't anticipate the defender chasing him down. I think he thought he was in the clear. Good individual play by 20. But yeah, definitely want to see something a little bit different there. Someone said Brock had Kittle wide open on this play. I think right here, when Brock, you can see Brock hand pat, he's throwing this. Decides to throw when it looks like 20 is bailing with Kittle. And so the 49ers run this high-low concept constantly. It's like their favorite zone beater, and they run it constantly against the Seattle Seahawks. So this is actually a good adjustment by them because the 49ers have absolutely cooked the Seahawks on this. I remember doing film breakdowns last year when we were talking about this concept, right? They run this all the time. It's like a seam by Kittle, right? You get one seam and then you get a deep over. We see it constantly. Seam, deep over. And it's to drag the seam is to typically drag the defender out of the zone. So you can see he passes it off, and this is typically a big play, but he makes a heads up play because guess what? He's probably gotten beaten on this concept like 17 times by the 49ers over the last 2 years. And he's like, never again. I'm going to show like I'm riding with Kittle, but I'm going to keep my eyes on Brock because I know he wants to go underneath. So he made the adjustment, but it was a great catch. Just gotta keep his hands on that thing once he gets a hold of it. But then right after that, shortly after that, Brock does it again. Gonna get a dime to George Kittle. I love this throw. This is a throw opposite side hash, outside the numbers, layered throw over a safety in between the other defensive back. This is a great throw. Long developing play. Great throw. Give a touch on it. Make sure he gets it over the defender's head to ensure that it's not undercut. Drops it in between the back end player. Nice. Nice. And then that was the last of Brock. But we did get a JP Mason run. And I did want to highlight one specific player that I haven't seen play for the 49ers this year. Number 9, Braden Willis. All right. This is, I believe this is the first time he's active. And he gets some play time. Watch this block by Willis. I feel like Willis earned some confidence with like a play like this alone. Like he's able to wash down Mafe, former second-round draft pick, stays engaged, keeps working. Pretty sure that's Mafe. Yeah, it is. And Mafe doesn't like it very much. So Braden Willis, I like that block. I think that's the only thing that really is keeping Braden Willis off the field is Kyle's probably trust in him to be able to block at the NFL level like this. And that's a starter for them. I'll take it. I'll take it. So, some nice little stuff in garbage time. I would like to see more Braden Willis. I'm very intrigued by the potential of Braden Willis. You got Braden Willis up here again. You know, he did enough on this one. He turned them a little bit. Wasn't his guy who made the tackle. So we see more Braden Willis potentially moving forward. And there's a weapon. You know, it's not the best, but it's good enough. It's good enough, not the best, but good enough. I am curious though what Kyle could scheme up with a athletic tight end who is a receiving style tight end like Braden Willis. So we got to see a little action. I wouldn't be surprised if we start sprinkling him in a little bit more. And of course, if the 49ers blow out any of the future opponents, it's going to give him some valuable snaps. Braden Willis could be a guy that we look at in the playoffs, maybe if he starts to kind of build up some reps and do some good things. Braden Willis might be a sneaky guy that could actually be a nice little spark maybe on later on down the road. So biggest takeaways of the tape for me, Deebo Samuel is a dog. Brock Purdy is a dog. But Brock Purdy does a really good job of pushing the ball downfield, seeing the field, and making great throws. Offensive line did absolutely phenomenal on the edges. I think that was another huge takeaway, was they were dominant on the outside for a majority of the game. So really good job of being able to attack the edges, and I want to see more of that because I do think that will be able to open up some things for the 49ers moving forward. But overall, wasn't the best, but there's a lot of good to take away from that game where the 49ers swept the Seattle Seahawks. So not bad, not bad, not bad. Not bad. Well, Monday Night Football's on right now, so you guys probably want to get out of here, watch some Monday Night Football. I appreciate all you guys, as always, for tapping in every day. You guys are the best. Smash that like button on your way out. Hit the sub if you haven't already, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to